the people who are affected in these conversion places, out of say 150 families, let's say 120 families have converted. So whatever, think about, let's think about these 25 families who are not converted and still with Hinduism. Let's take a pause and just think about their social pressure. Their siblings might have changed, their in-laws might have changed, the people whom they play with might have changed their religion. So think about their social pressure, like for example, how will their kid be married? What will be the pressure from their political, where they get some money from their farming or some like small work they do, they might not be given work. So think about that, right? I mean, it's not easy when you say that, so why are these people? So today it is because of those 25% of strong Hindus in the villages. Even today our dharma is alive, believe me. Namaste everyone. My name is Venkat Vutukuri, founder of Dhanadharma Charitable Trust. It's nice meeting you all here through Sangam Talks. I really appreciate the Sangam Talks team for arranging this talk show. So this will be kind of a different viewpoint in our Hindu Dharmic society today. So most of us visit temples on festivals, or some of us visit on auspicious days, your birthdays, anniversaries, and all that. But there are, I would say, 60% of villages in Bharat today. Like all of us talk about Tirupati or Arunachalam or Kashi or whatever, right? So we talk about all the big temples. But do we go there every often? No. All right. So what about the people, kind of poor economic people, or like say, let's take, I mean, I hate to use the word SCST, but as per the law, that's what you have to use. So let's take, what about the people who are SCST, scheduled caste and tribes today in Hinduism? Like what do they do? What is their connection to Hinduism? Do they really go to temples? Or is there a different way of their worship? And in all these pretexts, so how would you actually define their bhakti? That is more important than anything else. So how do you define their bhakti? How are the Grama Devata temples today in most places? So some of us might not even know there is a Grama Devata at all. So what is the importance of this? So we'll talk extensively on this. So before we do that, I'll just try to introduce myself quickly, and then we'll go to the Dhanadharma activities, then talk about the introduction to Grama Devata, why it is so important, and then I'll give you a few examples of on the ground, on the real ground reality of what is happening on the ground, and how can we restore, revive our dharma with Grama Devata temples. So to quickly introduce myself, my name is Venkat Vutukuri. So I've been working in the IT space for more than 18 years now. I'm located in the US. The last 10 years, so I work for a full-time job here. So I have a daughter and a son here, settled in California. So that is in brief about me. So we started this journey of Dhanadharma 8 years ago. So we just started, like most of you, I'm pretty sure most of us are kind of the pseudo-secular mindset. Okay, so you do seva, don't expect anything, right? So that is where we started our journey with. And as we progress towards the ground, the reality, people, the way they approach dharma, so we kind of evolved, transformed our projects into a way that will actually help us revive and restore some of these dharma in our capability, right? So 8 years ago, we started just doing Annadhanam, sponsoring some of the kids' education, doing some infrastructure work for old age homes. All this, like the regular seva activities, right? I mean, there is nothing right or wrong. Even today we do that. Most of our activities revolve around the seva. But there has been a shift in the way we think due to an incident that happened to me. So I'll tell you, without going much details, I'll tell you briefly what has happened. So there was this project where we were asked to give 4 bicycles to the primary school girls who have to walk 3 kilometers one way to reach their school and then come back again. So we thought, okay, this is a normal project. I mean, yeah, you'll get a cycle in like say 6,000, 7,000 rupees. That's not a big money here. Yeah, we can pool 4 friends and then give that money. So in a month we pooled money, then we gave them whatever is needed, and they submitted some of those bills and pictures and said they posted on Facebook and told us, yeah, so all is good. So after a couple of days, I got a ping on Messenger saying, so we are looking into your profile, and we see that you are more dharmic related, but the people that you are working are not, though they seem so. I said, yeah, okay. So people, I mean, when you do something, somebody might not like it, or they might have some personal things, their own agenda. I said, yeah, that's okay, leave it. So he kept on repeatedly telling me the same thing. Then I had to forcefully go and check with him, like what is actually happening, right? So I did my own inquiry. So I had to do a lot of juggling there, but I did my own inquiry and came to know that the funds that you actually generously donate towards the upliftment of society is not doing it, but in a way it is hurting your dharma. So what is happening on this project was, this person takes your money, gives cycles. So there is the conditions apply. So he will go to the ground and only tell only who are ready to be converted to Christianity will be only given cycles. So this is not disclosed, obviously, to public or to any of those people, right? I mean, so that's all under the carpet. So they strike a deal with the principal and all that thing, and it's quite common there. So that is when I was kind of in a dilemma, in a kind of a paradigm, I would say confusion, like, what am I doing? Is my money, the money that I take from my friends, well-wishers, family, if I lose, say, for example, say $100, I mean, that's okay. I mean, if that's the end of it. But I'm not doing it. I'm taking money from each of my friends who trust in me, making sure that it goes properly in a proper fashion, right? So this is where we had our own issues, and then started thinking deeply with a couple of friends who started this project Dhanadharma, and then we came to know that it is we who, in the name of secular mindset, trying to pool funds and then using it against our dharma. It is because of our inaction or not knowing things on the ground. So with your hard-earned money, they try to convert and then make them against our Hindu, right? So from that point of time, so we started working on the ground. So it's just not only seva will help the dharma. So it is the dharmic framework of your seva only helps you, your society, and dharma in large. So this is where we have to change gears and start thinking differently, and then work with many volunteers on the ground who are actively, selflessly working towards the dharmic restorations. So that is where all of our projects came to fold. So how did we start Gramadevata? So this is just in brief about Dhanadharma, right? And Dhanadharma, we do very briefly, we do seva projects, Dhanam, seva, and Dharma, which is restoration of our Dharma. So this should, my understanding on the ground is this should go hand in hand. It cannot be like, okay, you do seva, that will not help for Dharma, or you do Dharmic, but that will not be a seva. So that is why our Puranas always tell you, whenever you see Dharma, most of the times you see Dhanadharma. So are you doing enough Dhanadharma, right? So for example, the way we started doing this after that incident was, even we do a lot of seva activities, seva projects. For example, feed pregnant mother is one of the unique projects that we are doing. So we go to rural hospitals, public health centers, and then donate. So we do the prasadam for the Lord Rama, Krishna, or whoever it is the volunteer likes to do, and then we give the prasadam to all the feed pregnant women in the hospital, give some medicines and all that. So till date we have helped more than 18,000, 20,000 feed pregnant women. So that from the last 5 years or so. We also give stationery to kids. So I mean, it's not unlike you go to just a school and then just donate. So we don't do that. So what we generally do is we go to the colonies, ask them to come to the Gramadevata temple. So Gramadevata is not only for your spiritual benefit, it should also be your social and economical benefit too. So the Hindus first should understand. So all of us might not understand, okay, Atma, Paramatma, okay, so what is Dharma, the Kama, Moksha? Most of us might not understand it. So definitely not the people on the ground who are living for their livelihood. I mean, today, tomorrow, yeah, what is my life, right? So in order to make sure they understand our dharma, you have to start serving them. So I think that is the primary aspect where most Hindu organizations fail to do so. So you cannot tell them that, okay, so don't convert, or you cannot be aggressive with them when they don't have food for the next meal. They cannot do anything. I mean, they'll just look up to you when you are there, and then after you are gone, I mean, it's their life, right? So we asked them to come to the Gramadevata temple, um, have some bhajan sessions with the kids and with elders, and then we start giving them the books, stationery, bags, slippers, whatever they would need. So even today, we go to all SCST colonies and then help them, almost kind of 1,500 to 2,000 kids every year. We have been doing this for 4 or 5 years now. And also, many of those seva projects revolve around the Gramadevata temple, making sure that there is a Hindu face to it, there is Dharmic, there is seva, and they listen to you when you do these seva activities. So it's not like, most of you might not believe, you cannot enter into most of these colonies, at least if you do at least 3 to 6 months of groundwork. So that is how deep this mafia today exists in most villages, especially in most of these coastal regions in southern India. Right. So this is on the seva side. So we also sponsor some of the cataract operations, and for volunteers, if there is any issue, so we do insurance and all those. So there are a lot of other seva activities. I'm not going deep into all those. But on the dharma side, so what we do is, so we started looking into these seva activities and then found out the major connection for these SCST people or Harijanas are your Grama Devata. Even today, if you go to remote places, I think most of us, if you are from Andhra Pradesh or Telangana or Tamil Nadu, I'm not sure, I think some part of Karnataka too, before you get into your marriage hall or marriage venue, you actually visit your Grama Devata. So only by taking the permission of Grama Devata, you actually get into your wedding ceremony, right? So that is the importance that is given to your Grama Devata. Not only now. I mean, it has been there in our culture for a long time. So most of us, I mean, you cannot see, if you go to your village where you are born, where you are raised, where you played with your friends, you would not see the same composition after 20 or 30 years. So you would not even see a Grama Devata there. So the Grama Devata in the lineage of, when you talk from Paramatma to Devatas to say, I mean, we can go through the lineage too, but Grama Devata comes to the nearest form of your spiritual or the minutest form of your spiritual presence where you can always connect with, right? So that is the Gramadevata. So you generally say, right, we have the Atma, Paramatma, Lord Shiva, Brahma, Vishnu, right, Ammavaru. And, so, I mean, anybody can say that's it's all lineage, right? So you have your Devatas, you have your Navagrahas, you have your, then comes your Grama Devata, right? Then here comes your maybe Kula Devata, your Ishta Devata. So all this, I mean, your Ishta Devata can be any of these lineages. So, but there is an entity that is called Grama Devata, where it always, even today, believe me, I've worked in more than 130 temple restorations, Grama Devata temple restorations. Even today, there is a Shakti. There is a Shakti in most Grama Devata temples that is not cared for. So that is the reason, if you see in the corona pretext, right? So many people suffer with cholera or typhoid, with all these kind of issues. So whenever you actually, so there are many live examples. I don't want to go into details, but whenever you do the Grama Devata, restore the spirit of the Grama Devata inside your village, things will start falling in place. So I've seen many of those cases. So even today, if you go to remote SCST colonies, they know they go to Shiva temple once in a while, Shivaratri, or they go to Vishnu temple once in a while, right? But the only connection they have to Hinduism is Grama Devata. So they have a every Sunday or Friday, based on their culture, they go there, do some offerings, do some pongal. So in Telangana area, most of you know the Bonalu festival is kind of a Grama Devata, right? So today, if you draw parallels between Andhra Pradesh and Telangana, there is uh, more adherence to our Hindu culture, more practicing Hindus in Telangana than in Andhra Pradesh, because the Grama Devata and the Bonalu festival is one very crucial point why there are, uh, I mean, the current social composition in Telangana versus your Andhra Pradesh. So that is one thing all of us have to kind of, this is a kind of a deep subject, I would say, for somebody who is just listening in, might not get the entirety of it, but the Grama Devata is one of the, most of you might have some lineage, some connection to Grama Devata. I'm pretty sure you go ask your parents after this show, "Oh, who is our Grama Devata?" Like we said, Polerama, Ganganamma Talli, Mutyalama Talli. So there are one not one Grama Devatas with Pothraju. So there is a big story to it. So I mean, you can just Google it. What is Grama Devata? Most of the bigger temples today are also, once upon a time, they were Grama Devata. For example, your Vijayawada Kanakadurgamma temple, right? So that's also once upon a time a Grama Devata. So there are many ways you can argue this, that, and all that. But I'm not going to all these details in general. So what we are trying to do is we are trying to restore the single point of connection of these Harijana Girijanas, SCST colonies via Grama Devata. Even today, you have some good in your life or something happened and you have your harvest festival. They actually go to the Grama Devata, offer the pongal with the new rice, and then take it home. You have a bad thing that happened in your home, somebody got fever or somebody lost their life, they go to their Grama Devata and say, Amma, please bless me, or please take care of my family. They have that personal connection, right? So if you take away that personal connection, the only link to their Hinduism is actually gone. So even today, you see most converted villages. So the conversion mafia first cracks down on these Grama Devata temples. The first and foremost thing they do is, of course, obviously, they have the history of 1,000, 2,000 years of cracking down or disseminating the local cultures, obviously. So you cannot compare. So, but they do their, after their all the research, they first see what is their single point of, or one or top three connections with Hinduism they have. So obviously there is a bindi, there is a sari. Of course, you cannot change it. Bindi, yeah, you can always change it. So your Grama Devata connection, right there. So there are steps of ways, and I've personally known, seen, heard many of these, how they actually crack down on these Grama Devata temples and make sure the spirit is gone from the Grama Devata temples so that they can start their establishment factory of conversion. So I'll just give you a brief example of how these are done on the ground in general, right? So this is an average case. I'm not saying an extreme case. This is an average case. So I don't want to get into the village and all that. So in Kurnool district, I'll just name the district name. Kurnool district. So there was this Anjaneya Swami temple that was established by Veera Brahmendra Swami, one of the greatest astrologers most of you know in Telugu states. So so this Veerabhadra Swami, Veera Brahmendra Swami, I'm sorry, Veera Brahmendra Swami. So who wrote the Kalagnanam? So he established, I think, 300 years ago, this temple of Anjaneya Swami. So, and then there is a small Grama Devata, obviously, there. So what these people did was, first of all, they take the weak links in the local pujari and they start first bargaining, offering something, saying that, yeah, you convert, we will give you this. So all of us will have some family problems, right? Obviously, if you take me or anybody else, obviously all of us will have something or the other that is lingering in your mind. So they come, talk nicely, take the psychological effect on the other people's mind, understand the situation, and then talk. So this is the first thing that they do. That's okay, that's common. The second thing that they do is, if it is not success in your first step, the second step they do is they start making sure they spread rumors on that priest or pujari, saying that, yeah, he's not nice, he goes to so many places, he does that, he drinks. So they start spreading rumors and then create a feeling of anti-trust, not on the Grama Devata, not on the deity, but first with the pujari. So obviously, maybe not 2 months, 3 months down the line, there will be a section of people who will fall for that and then say, yeah, he's not good. I've seen them. I've seen him here. So they start slowly building this anti-trust logic, and then slowly make sure that there will be less number of people going to the temple. Then they send some people to booze, to drink there, do all this nonsense, nuisance activities there. Then make sure there is a rift between your temple and the people there. So obviously you might, most of you might say, hey, what is the sarpanch doing, or why will they allow it, right? So as I already told you, they do all their homework and they bribe your all the key people, or they make sure there is some political pressure. So they have all this infrastructure. So you cannot, even Hindus, even today, with everything that is going on, you don't have at least, I would say, 5 to 10% of the infrastructure they have. I'll also give an example why. In a big city like Bangalore, I'll give an example. So with all this going on, then they slowly ask that priest, like, to go away, or I would say run away, or like by force, right? So obviously, when he doesn't have enough income generating from the temple, so obviously he has to feed his family. He'll try to check other means of living. So then make sure if there is land for that Grama Devata, obviously, you know what happens after that. So there is a local politicians involved. So with the advent of this conversion mafia, the land is gone, your temple is gone, your spirituality is lost, your village remains without any spirit. So that is the first step of your conversion mafia that enters. The moment it enters, 6 to 7 years down the line, 80% of your village is gone. 80% of your village. It doesn't matter to them what you believe inside, what you pray in your heart, or whenever you have a problem, it doesn't matter to them. It only matters whether you come to their uh, place of worship or not, right? So this is an average case. This is what happens in most villages these days. Now tell me, without giving the proper infrastructure to them, without giving a way to re-establish their connection to the Grama Devata. How can you go and ask them what ethical value do our Hindu society have these days? Whatever organization you call it. I mean, I'm talking my heart here. So you cannot ask them what ethical value you have. You go and ask them like, why are you changing? What makes you change? Like, why are you into Christianity? This is that, right? So what have you given in turn for them to come back? So this is $1 million question that all of us have to kind of really put our hand to heart and understand what we do. So without giving them the proper necessary infrastructure to come back to our dharma, you cannot. There is no way for you to ask, or there is no way for you to, let's say, to come back. Some of you might ask, sir, where do you get this? Understanding of which Grama Devata temple you want, or how do you get this information from, right? So every Kartika Masam, what Dhanadharma Charitable Trust does is we do a massive operation of donating puja items, your oil, pasupu, kunkuma, gandham, so everything that relates to puja. So we create a 500 rupees kit and start going to the remote SCST colonies in both Andhra Pradesh and Telangana. So, and we donate to almost 1,500 to 2,000 temples to Grama Devata, and some of you might be astonished. So some of them are kind of, you'll see webs and spiders and all kind of animals inside. So it's locked. So people don't care, right? So obviously with everything that is going on and the kind of social issues that we have today in most villages, so it's bound to happen. I mean, there is no proper one single Hindu face today that represents us. That's for a number of reasons. Let's not go into all those details, but so we get that information from there. Almost, you say, 2,000 temples. So that's a massive operation. More than 50-60 mandals, more than I would say 100 villages, 200 colonies or so. 30 to 40 volunteers will be working. So we do the background work from like 60 days, 2 months prior to the Kartik Masam. And then we start sending them kits. So we get all this information from various places. So that is where we line up all the projects and say, so you know what they ask? The people who are affected in these conversion places, out of say 150 families, let's say 120 families have converted. So whatever, think about, let's think about these 25 families who are not converted and still with Hinduism. Let's take a pause and just think about their social pressure. Their siblings might have changed. Their in-laws might have changed. The people whom they play with might have changed their religion. So think about their social pressure, like, for example, how will their kid be married? What will be the pressure from their political, where they get some money from their farming or some like small work they do? They might not be given work. So think about that, right? I mean, it's not easy when you say that. So why are these people? So today it is because of those 25% of strong Hindus in the villages. Even today our dharma is alive. Believe me. It's not alive because of we build big temples. We say, okay, somebody is here to help you. It's not because of that. It's because of those selfless bhakti towards Hindu dharma that is still alive today in villages. So in return for their bhakti, so they have a Grama Devata temple. They ask you, you know what they ask? Can you please give us a compound wall? Dogs are entering into the Grama Devata. There is no puja oil for Grama Devata. There is no light. There is no water facility. Can you put a small hand pump? 8,000 rupees, 10,000 rupees. Can you give us a small light fan? There is no shed. The Grama Devata temple is in the sun and in the rain. So can you make sure there is a small roof? With iron sheets. So today there is nobody who takes care of this. And obviously this is why they have every reason economically, socially to go convert. So unless we address these kind of ground issues, I would say, no matter what rule you bring in, no matter how far you work with those people, give them something that they can attach to themselves and to dharma. Right? So this is what we have been doing for the last 4 or 5 years, and we have a number of stories in most in most districts of Andhra Pradesh and Telangana. Right? Every temple, believe me, every temple has a story. And so in our Ramayana, right? So there was this question that people ask, whether the sorrow of Sita is more, or the sorrow of Rama is more. Somebody asked this question, right? I heard in some pravachanam on YouTube. So the answer is, the sorrow of Sita is more than Rama. No, because Rama has lost everything. He's nowhere. He don't know where his wife is, and all those, right? He's not a king anymore. So and all that. But for Sita, so today, the reason why, I mean, I'll just tell you the answer in a single sentence. The reason is, she doesn't have anybody to share with, right? That is why the sorrow of Sita is far more than Rama, because Rama has Lakshmana with him, he has Hanuman, he has Sugriva, and all these people with him, right? So today, that is the exact situation of Dharma today. Today, nobody goes and talks to a small priest and ask him why there is less people coming into this temple. We don't talk to anybody. Just go, just pray, give 10 rupees or 20 rupees, whatever you can afford. So that's a different topic altogether. So what one recommendation or one suggestion I would do from all of you here is, next time you go to a temple, try to strike a conversation. No matter how big of a temple you go, how small of a temple you go, strike a chord. Talk to the priest. Understand what Hindu Dharma is going today on the ground. So solutions will not come in a day. Don't try to draw solutions. So this is another major flaw that I see in the Hindu thought process. The moment we tell about a problem, people just draw solutions. Problem, straight arrow, solution. It's not like that. It doesn't happen that way. So there is a lot of information that you have to know to draw lines, just to draw lines. Forget about the solution. Solution comes at the end. So just like our design phase, right? When you get the requirements, you don't design. You don't design a solution out of it. There's a lot of process that goes in between, right? Which is obviously the most important and critical things in our projects. So yeah, so I know some of you this might be a deep personal questions that most of us might have to answer. Answers doesn't come, I'm pretty sure. Like most of us, it doesn't come just by saying that, hey, this is what it is. Okay, this is what we fight for, and all this. So this is a different kind of talk you might have seen. I mean, you might have seen many YouTube, but this is the ground reality. Let's all face it. If you don't understand this, you don't understand the importance of the Grama Devata, or why today the SCSTs are converting huge numbers, and you don't give anything for them to hold on. Personally, I would say we don't have the right to ask them to remain in Hindu Dharma, frankly.
As you said, supposed to be Hindus, then we have to care about Hindus. We have to care about every Hindu. I think Christians do that, fine for them. Muslims do it, very good. We also need to do that without hate, without any aggression. You must care for those who are closest to you, your family. Excellent that you're doing it. We should not be hateful. We should just go about it as you said. And you can't go and question them. Why are you becoming this? Why are you doing that? I have some questions to you rather. This is as a non-Telugu speaker, a Bengali from Sweden. I don't have any experience of Andhra or Telangana more than having visited casually once or twice. And I know there are a lot of Telugu speakers here in the audience. You know your states better than I do. But so the one question is there that the conversions in coastal Andhra, especially, but also in Telangana, have been not only SCST, but Reddis, Kamas, Kapus. I mean, it's all over Andhra Telugu society. Christianity is spreading very quickly. And again, if people choose it, freedom of religion, I'm fine with that. But it's sociologically very interesting why the Telugu speakers have taken to Christianity in such a massive way, which Bengalis have not, and which some other states in India have not, among non-SCST. So that's one question, just a question in my mind. And the other question might be of more interest to everybody here. Hinduism has very few, as you pointed out, we have not provided much, 5% of what Christians or Muslims provide, and that is our weakness. Institutionalized Hinduism is extremely weak. My question is straightforward. We have something called the Sangh Parivar with hundreds of organizations. It is the only backbone of Hinduism, whether you are political or not, whether you are BJP or not, I don't care. But fact of the matter is that Sangh Parivar is what you can call organized Hinduism today. And then you have sampradayas and sansthanas of various kinds, temples, Chinmay Mission, etc. These two broad streams exist. What evidence have you seen in your field work of these two broad streams, Sangh and Sampradayas, doing anything? And why do Hindu activists have to constantly reinvent the wheel, create networks, do things on their own, when we do have networks? So this is just a provocative question to you. Thank you.
Sure. Thanks, Bhattacharya. So first of all, appreciate and acknowledge the insightful talk that I'm giving you. Thank you. So first of all, two major questions. I'll try to be quick as possible. So why do others, not only SCSTs, why do other people convert? So this is a bigger question in general. This is a social problem. So this is no more. It is not getting into a religious problem. It is a social problem now. So why I say social problem is so even today. So you can go check. So there are some villages in Guntur district where I come from. Most of those pastors are Brahmins. So I mean, you cannot say why, what. Let's take that point away. Let's try to think in a different dimension. So because one thing is today, let me tell you, how many of our caste leaders or caste associations, let's say, there is nothing wrong. Personally, I don't feel so. So how many of these associations today go and help the poorest of the poor in their caste? You tell me. Starting from Brahmins. Whomever it is, Brahmins, Vaishya, Kapu, Reddy, Kama, whoever it is. So I think the one thing that needs immediate attention is counseling these caste leaders. Let me tell you. In Andhra Pradesh, I think most of my Telugu friends would agree. People think there are 10,000 MLA seats in Andhra Pradesh. Every street, one person want to become an MLA. That is the power hungriness that most youth today are stuck into. Most leaders, most caste leaders. So as a caste leader, what you're supposed to do, because you are into Hindu Dharma, make sure your poorest of the poor gets something out of it, get some benefit, then make sure you're get on with your life, and then make sure you're there. You solve your problem. But today, none of them, I would say none of them, sorry, my mistake. Most of them don't do it because all they wanted is get money, be powerful, project me as an MLA or somebody to an MLA, do some real estate business. So this is 99.99% of the leaders in Andhra Pradesh. Okay, right from your street to the top. There is no here and there. This is the ground reality. Let's all face it. Our Hindus. So I'll tell you. I will tell you an example why I'm doing it. So in my village, there was a piece of land it's a government piece of land where the MLA ourselves. Okay. So in my village, there are equal, I would say 30% Muslims and most of 70% Hindus, and I said 10-20% Christians also. And so they said, yeah, you come in and they will give you this piece of land, 10 acres of land equally. Right? So you know how many people turned up from a Hindu standpoint? In a village there, in a town where you have 80,000 voting, 14 people turned up. So let's not think why the leaders are converting. Obviously, because I'll tell you one straightforward point: a temple will not consolidate them vote. Take this: a church or a masjid will consolidate vote. The moment the Hindu society thinks my dharma is more important to me than some of the problems that I'm facing today, that day they're bound to help you, because they know that consolidation will happen. Today that's not the case, because we don't give enough priority to dharma. So how many of us we actually go out and say, okay, I have a problem with my temple. How many of us go to a local MLA for a temple? Any state? You could hardly count. Does a Prime Minister of India have to come to your village to restore your temple? Are we so dumb as Hindus? I think this is the question that all of us have to answer. And so obviously, wherever there is vote, the leaders go there. The caste politics will work out. So unless you go and pressurize your caste leaders and your local MLAs, right? Whichever religion he is, a Muslim MLA a Muslim person can go to a Hindu MLA and ask for a masjid. Why are we not doing it? Right? So different questions. So I know that might not completely answer your question. You might have more questions than you have asked me. So let me go to the institutionalizing these people, right? So I would be frank. RSS is doing a lot of great work. Okay, I wouldn't say they're not doing it. I would be a fool if I tell that. And like Chinmayan Mission Sampradayas, there are a lot of Sampradayas, right? So most of these people who are heading these organizations are stuck in their old age logic. When I say old age logic, say, yeah, everybody is equal, everybody is in the same, all religions are equal, we should all be secular, right? I think this pattern of thought process of the people who are leading these organizations don't understand the ground. Just because they have money, or just because they didn't have a proper political career, these people lead these organizations. These people doesn't know on the ground what is happening, believe me. So we take most of the projects that the local most of these RSS or VHP, they give us these projects. Then we say, yeah, that's fine. Then that's what we are here. We'll do it. So I think most people who are in their 50s, 60s in India, who are just leading their life and don't understand what it is on the ground. Why is this Modi winning? Why is this Hindu Dharma like this? Is this vote consolidation? They don't understand it, frankly. I think that is where the major gap is today in the society. That is the reason most of these organizations are not able to reach where there is a need. It's like, so for example, you are hurt on the leg, okay, and you just go and apply powder on your face. How is that? How does that sound? Sound foolish. That's what we are doing. You are limping with your pain, and then you go apply your face powder on, right? So do where it is needed. So most of it don't know where it is bleeding. So that is where most of the Hindu organizations today, like Dhanadharma, there are a lot of other organizations who are actively working on the ground. Believe me, there are a lot of organizations who are actively working, because there is 70-80% of conversion that the villages are converted. So an average middle class person is as concerned as Dharma, neither a poor man, because he no complaints, right? Obviously he has to get his next meal. Or a person who is already rich, they don't want to work for the society. right? So they don't want to become more rich. As I told you, Andhra Pradesh has 1 lakh MLA seats. So all of them will try to contest for it.
So for a layman like me who doesn't understand Andhra Pradesh or Telangana that much, I just have a single doubt that why is it that the Christian missionaries or the mafias, they don't have to toil much to convert people in Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, or this side of India? And why is it so difficult for them to reach out people in, say, Maharashtra, for example? We have Vidarbh region wherein there is a tribal area where you have drastic situations, people living in drastic situations with no economic benefits at all, but they are still connected to their dharma. So I'm just wondering, why is it so?
Yeah, so in Andhra Pradesh, it's easy because you already converted 60% of those Harijan Girijans, right? So the other 20% is just a matter of time they'll convert, or for voting.
Right.
So in Maharashtra, you see, every location, every state, every region have their own local leaders, right? Local strong gurus. Even in Andhra Pradesh, there are a lot of gurus. Even you go to the remote places of Visakhapatnam, even today, Allur Sita Ramaraju, though he is a freedom fighter, people respect him, people worship him as a god. There are a lot of these people. I mean, there is no gap for us. You name gurus, you name warriors. We have a lot of these people, right? So the problem is we don't respect them, or one section of the people don't care about what is happening in the society. All we want is my daughters, my son. I have like 5 crores of money. I want another 5 crores. What will you do? Don't know. So yeah, so that's a bigger question. But it's easy to convert because it's a low-hanging fruit. So there are 5 churches. You can easily establish another church rather than first going in there establishing your first church. Right? So,
in our side, in our place, like as you said, Grama Devata means Grama Deva we call in Karnataka village. I am from Karnataka, Udupi, Mangalore area. So in every Udupi, Mangalore area, in every village, we have this Grama Deva concept. And we have built temples, and we also have Mahalingeshwara, Ishwara temple, Krishna temple. So we organize annual festivals of both the temples, as well as Ishwara, as well as, whereas when it comes to Grama Deva, the rituals, puja rituals are much different. Someone will adore the costumes, and then there's music, and then there is dance, and everyone congregates. So this system has been strengthened. Therefore, the missionaries are not that successful. For example, in my village, they built a church about 10, 15 years ago. So far, they have not succeeded in converting even a single Hindu as such. And another point I want to show is that we, for example, here, I don't know whether you can see this picture. Can you see this picture?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You can see a lady. This is a bhajan satsangat, and they're all Harijans. What do you call? The local name is Madiga. Madiga means the chappal.
We do have the same thing.
That caste. So over a period of a couple of years, we have integrated them into a bhajana mandali, satsang. Annually, every year we perform during Shivratri, what do you call, satsang, bhajan, Shiva Bhakta, Shiva Bhajan itself. And in that, upper caste people are also invited by them. They offer them, that haldi kumkum type, so the Dalit women are encouraged to do that. What all over India must be done.
Exactly.
Secondly, you had that is responding to Mr. Bhattacharya's upper caste people becoming Christians, converting. The process of deracination takes place when they send their children to missionary schools. I have seen this. Brahmins, even the children of priests who attend these schools, Christian mission schools, they develop a negative opinions and views about Hindu ritual practices and all, and then they become the fodder for conversion. The last point about the RSS, Now, RSS feels in things because I'm in association with a lot of, I'm a 75-year-old man, so I've got a lot of RSS contacts. So they feel that Hinduism absorbed a lot of local practices, like the local Deva practice, which I say it is a local practice absorbed by over a period of time by the Hindu traditional Hinduism or Vedic Hinduism. So they feel and think that Christianity also can be absorbed like that. That is the biggest mistake they are making. They call Dharma Kshetra, they call Dharma Guru, they may call Saint Lawrence's Punya Kshetra, Bala Yesu, and so on and so forth. I fought with them. Look, what is this nonsense? You don't know your enemy. They are your enemy, and you will not succeed in absorbing Christianity and Islam into Hinduism. You try whatever your effort. So I thought I will share these.
Thanks. That's a good perspective. Thanks. Yeah. So we do most of these, whatever you're saying, the bhajan teams. I'm not kind of discussing in detail, but yeah. So as you said, Grama Devata temples, once you start working on the Grama Devata temple, you will feel the power and spirit of the Grama Devata protecting them, right? So that is more important. Thank you, sir. It was Anandara ji, namaste.
Namaste, Venkat ji. Your talk was really beautiful. I write a lot on temples and I have studied Grama Devata temples. In fact, I keep telling people that no matter where you live, at least within the Bharat geography, wherever you live, there has to be a Grama Devata and you must be aware of who that Grama Devata is. But I was very intrigued by what you said, that once the Grama Devata temples were restored, things started falling in place and the energy changed. Can you share a couple of examples?
Sure. Thanks, Anurag. So that's a good question for the audience too.
As a supplementary question, if you've done a lot of work on Grama Devata temples, can we work on documenting them? Because these are the temples that are not documented at all.
We have to.
So I've been documenting a lot of Grama Devata temples that I have visited, but they are isolated. Maybe we can put together some kind of a documentation, either online or offline, or a book on the concept of Grama Devatas and write about them and the relevance of that for the community. I also call them Kshetra Devatas. You're basically living under their Ashirvad.
Yeah, exactly.
So and people need to be aware of it. They just keep running after these architecturally beautiful temples, which may or may not be practicing temples. They are great, they are nice, but most of them are royal temples. They were built at some point in time by some king for various reasons. But the real essence of Dharma, as you said, is within these smaller Grama Devata temples that you visit on a daily basis.
Exactly. So Anurag ji, so on the book, so on the Grama Devata, right? So we are coming up with a book shortly in the next couple of months or so. So on the Grama Devata importance in Telugu. So there is a Pandit by name Shyam Pranit Sharma ji. So we are working with him to bring out a book in Telugu that will tell us the importance of Grama Devata, what are Purana references and all that. So that will be published shortly. So to your other question of your example of how all things fall in place. So this is a project that we did in Nellore. So this was just in local language, it's called Boddirai. So it's kind of just a spiritual stone. So that is prayed as the essence of Amavaru, right? So there was just something like that on the nearby temple, the nearby village where there is under the tree. Right? So this was a very small project that we started with, and within the vicinity of that Grama Devata, there was one or two churches there. So yeah, people. I would say that composition was around 40% converted and 60% Hindus. Right. So once we started restoring the temple, and then the 40% of them also started visiting this Grama Devata, and they started to have the spiritual. When you go to the Grama Devata, you will have that vibe. You will know it that there is something here. So they started getting it, and then they started to remember their ancestors, their forefathers, grandfather used to come here. So they used to go. So they have their personal connect. You just have to touch a little bit and then make sure that is revived. And then that is one thing that we started. So now the church is organically gone. Nobody goes to the church anymore because you have now an infrastructure, you have a place, you have a roof, you have a mic, so where you can start putting all your all our literature and all the Puranams, all the Pravachanas in that mic, and then you start. So that is one part of it. The second part of it is, so now you have a place, you have a proper place where our Hindu organizations can go and then start doing seva to them. So for example, in that college, they have around like say 200 kids. So what we did is we gave like all the books, all the pencils, bags to them, some of them slippers. So we start doing them. So whenever there is an auspicious event, we call them there, do Annadanam, the Shivaratri, right? Or Sankranti, or Diwali. So you go there, do Annadanam. So it's just that you go and reach these people. I think reach is the biggest word, takeaway keyword here. You reach people in the pivotal centric area of Grama Devata. So I think that is, once we start doing it. So if you go and touch anybody who is already converted, right? If you go and touch their heart and then say, hey, why you have converted? Like, is that now that you have converted, does all your problems gone away? Like, are you happy? Believe me, 95% of the people will start crying. So because there is no way that you guys are going, that I would say not you, but we guys are going and reaching them, talking to them, that is why they're still there. So once you go, like so many examples, they come to the Grama Devata and start crying. I've not worshipped you for so long. This is why this happened. This is why that happened. From now on, I'm coming to your temple. No, nobody will insist that. So just because that spirit is there, that village will again come back. The Hindu resonance will again come back. Another, I can also share some of the details offline too. So a little more critical things that we cannot share on the public domains.
You are doing the work that all of us should be doing in our own communities, and it's fantastic. You briefly touched upon the fact that the Grama Devata, if you do establish it, re-establish her or him, the god, and then you can slowly make Hindu life stronger in the village, and possibly even 95% of the villagers have discovered that changing religions does not change your life, and it might be actually just deracinating, demoralizing, and in the end, not very good for you or your family. I hope that insight will come. Is it important for us to, and I'm using this word again, please, I'm not a political person, but ghar wapsi, is it important that we revert these people within the first generation, within the first converted generation, or do you see that it can be done later on? What's the time frame? Thank you.
So at least from my experience, I would say definitely in the first generation. If you wait longer, I don't think they're going to come back with the current social, political, and the general way the world is going into. I think there is a huge necessity of us to strike the chord, hit the ground, then start doing the Garvapsi, right? So one way we are. So a couple of things. Let me kind of restructure my thought. So first thing is, why we need to do it in the first generation is, once you start, so there are different aspects to this, why we need to do Garvapsi, right? The one reason is, though they are Hindus on books, but they are not, right? So because you lose your reservation, the actual people who have actually need to get benefit out of the Hindu reservation system are thrown out. So that is one thing. So with the advent of conversion mafia having stronger holds on your society, community, politics, general resources, so that's a very important point that most of us, we haven't touched upon. So even today, like most of these temple lands, they just go put a cross and then claim their land. So most of these resources are going. So obviously people attract to place where they have resources. It doesn't matter how it is got, or people don't have time and have that ability to think through, okay, is this in the right sense? That doesn't matter. His next meal matters to him, right? So with all this in perspective, I think we have to hit the ground soon enough. Otherwise, we'll be losing a major chunk of our Hindus even today. So I think there is also some political intervention that needs to happen. But what are we contributing to this, either political or on the ground? I think that is a bigger question in general. What is our contribution? You cannot just be on the sidelines and say, hey, good job. So I don't know. I mean, if that is a kind of common Hindu, I mean, I would also touch upon an important perspective here. Why does a common Hindu doesn't care about Hindu Dharma? Let's try to understand this. Why does my father doesn't care about Hindu Dharma? Or why does my a shopkeeper, a helper in my family doesn't care about Hindu Dharma? I'll tell you the reason. He cannot be blamed. Believe me, he cannot be blamed. The reason is, on one side, so let's try to do some parallels in the society, right? On one side, you have this minority appeasement. That is the biggest enemy to the Hindu society today. Believe me. Because a person who is 40 years of age in a minority, just because he's a minority, no other factor, just because he's a minority, just because he is in so-and-so, he in so-and-so, he gets his ration, he gets his land, he gets his house free, he gets his education free. For example, if there are so many benefits of being a minority in this country, and an average Hindu who doesn't have most of this, I would say not all, like most of this, he has to toil 30 years amidst of his family, kids, his parents, just earning like 25,000 rupees a month. How can he, if a person who has 5 crores, when you cannot put your time on Hindu Dharma, how can you expect a common person who is earning 25,000 rupees and struggling with no reservation? He has his whole life, by the time he is 60 years, without caring about his health, what is happening inside his body, not doing enough good diet, exercise. None of these. I mean, exercise is a long thing for him, right? So all he will get is a minority person who has actually got in 35 years of his age, and an average Hindu gets at 60 years. So now tell me, who is to be blamed? It's not an average Hindu. He has his own problems to solve. It's because people like most of us here are not concerned about society. I'm only concerned about my Netflix story, my Amazon story, or my life, my car. That is going to change. Even in advanced countries, they have a very strong bond towards the community where you live in. I think that is most of times that is missing in Bharat today. So a couple of things I wanted to request, think through, not request, but think through some of these things. When you go to your big temple, right, if you have the capability and the power to ask your committee temple, ask your big committee temple to go and help small temples. So I'm pretty sure you will see the answer that you will listen from them. You will see why we are in such a dire state in Hinduism today. So the bigger temples have to support. So for example, let's take in a small town, there is one big temple, it's running fine, it has a lot of funds, and there are, say, 10 small temples in Harijan Girijan colonies. Can we not ask these bigger temple not to give all the funds? Definitely not. But at least help them 10,000 rupees per month to these smaller temples, like at least 2 or 3 temples. Can we not do that in our preference? We can do that. So next time, what I would request, if you go to a bigger temple, try doing it with a smaller temple. Take a bottle of oil, 100 rupees. Don't give any money if you're not interested to do so. That's okay. Take a bottle of oil, go and just drop it. Even if the door is closed, that's okay. Just drop through the hole, go and drop it. Even if you don't go to the temple, on your name, 30 days there will be Deeparajana in a small temple where there is not more people coming there. That will give you more punya than any other thing. So support your small temple. So that is one thing I wanted to tell you. The second thing is, people who have time, people who have money, start thinking about our dharma a little more, 1 hour a week. Just think about it. Don't do anything. Don't donate your money. Just think about it. I think solutions will come. So we have to do a lot of thought process before we step into the groundwork. But that is the second thing. Third thing is, first acknowledge our current situation. Don't shy away from acknowledging the fact. So, for example, if I have a problem with my blood sugar, I just keep on saying that, yeah, no, I don't have a problem. I'll never get a cure. Cure is a far concept, right? First, acknowledge your current situation. Then the solution will automatically come. So we are not acknowledging the fact that there are a lot of conversions. Most people are not. So even if you do, you're not giving much time to think through. So these are the couple of things I would say. Ask each of us, go to a small temple, support your community, and take the poorest of the poor in your community and try to help them. It can be as simple as a housemaid who comes to your house, or your relative who is poor. Just because he is a Hindu, just give him the benefit of doubt, help him. So I think that's where, as a community, as a Hindu society, we lack today. So that's all I have, and please support our work. So we have a lot of requirements. So believe me. So once we start doing it, so even today, I have more than 30-40 temples that are pending that I have to work through. So please give some support. Some people might have the lingering doubt of, okay, so can I donate your trust or something? If somebody really have the doubt, we can directly give you the numbers of the temples that you work with. You can freely, voluntarily go and help those temples. You don't have to do it through the Dhanadharma Charitable Trust. It's an open call. No worries. And anybody listening, you want to work in your in state in Andhra Pradesh and Telangana, you have already done your work. You're looking for some support, contact at dhanadharma.org, DANADHARMA.org. So there's a contact button there. So you can email, write us, or my personal email, vutukuri.venkat, VUTUKURI.venkat@gmail.com. So you can email us. So most of people might be new to this concept of Grama Devata, but I think that is where it is bleeding, and that is where all of us have to do our part, and then add our bit to revival and restoration of our Hindu Dharma in Bharat. So that's all from me. Thanks again. Namaste, everyone. And I really appreciate Sangam Team Talks for organizing this such a wonderful show. I've been a subscriber of Sangam Talks, by the way. So
our pleasure.
Yeah. So thanks for all the work that you do. So it's more important to connect the groundwork to the larger audience. That's a great seva that you are doing. Thanks, everyone. Thanks for listening in, and do our bit to Dharma. That is my takeaway from this.